Sultan's going to explain about run-on sentences.
And so run-on sentences are two complete different ideas that are not joined correctly by punctuation or by a connecting word. Okay? Does everyone understand? And so when we have a sentence with a period, begin a sentence with a capital letter. Of course, there is some concern about Facebook. Some people are worried about their privacy. Can anyone point out? Where's the clicker? Good. Okay. So the two ideas are, of course, there is some concern about Facebook, right? We need to complete that idea, finish it with a period, and then some people are worried about their privacy. So we have two separate complete ideas separated by a period. Does everyone understand? So the first one is a run-on sentence. Why? Good. There are two ideas. There are two different ideas together in one sentence. Remember, that's impossible. Okay? Good. Good. The question is, can we use a semicolon? You can. Okay. And what is the rules for using a semicolon involves? Two separate ideas that are more closely related than just using a period. Okay? Do you understand? Usually when we use a semicolon, it is because those two ideas, although separate, are so closely related that they need a semicolon, and we wouldn't use a period. Okay? A period uses a period is basic two ideas separated by a period. A semicolon would be two ideas, two complete sentences joined together with a semicolon because they have such a strong relationship together. They need to be together. Okay? Does everyone understand? Good. All right? With the run-on sentence, we don't connect sentences with a comma. Okay? If you did not, or in this is the example, not connecting the sentences with a comma. Okay? Look at our example. We can't deny its coolness factor, comma. Something about it makes you want to be a part of it. Now, I know this is very common in other forms of writing. A comma seems to be the popular choice for punctuation in Indonesia. Okay? But if we have two separate ideas, two strong separate ideas, it is not enough just to have a comma. Okay? Now, there are ways to make this correct with a comma. For example, you can use comma and a conjunction. That's a different thing. Okay, no problem. However, when you have two separate ideas, you must separate them with a period. Let's take a look. We can't deny its coolness factor. Period. Something about it makes you want to be a part of it. Period. Two separate ideas. Does everyone understand? Good. Okay. And because of time, we're not going to do it. We're going to skip, okay, the plural, okay, but don't worry. I'm sure that everyone said that their most difficult ones were fragments and run-on sentences. So I hope you feel more confident with those now.
And these other ones, you can always use online resources to learn more about them. So.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. My next? Okay, so practice peer editing. So you're going to stay in your same groups, why not? But you're going to take up the writing that we did in the beginning. Oh, everyone is nervous now. Oh, no. Oh, please don't edit my writing yet. I didn't know. No, okay? So please take your writing that you did in the beginning, okay? And you're going to, once again, give it to the person next to you. If you did not do writing in the beginning, no problem. You are just going to be an editor. Okay? So accept someone's writing, and together, you guys are going to look for some of the errors that we talked about today. Let's only focus on well, you can focus on as many as you want, but let's focus on the 4 errors that we mostly talked about today, which were capitalization, spelling, okay, verb forms, run-on sentences, and sentence fragments, okay? Good. So let's go ahead and take about 3 minutes, okay? Hand your paper to someone in your group and just see if you can find 1 or 2. You don't need to do all of it, okay? Help your other person in practicing your proofreading skills and help the other person, okay? Okay. Very quickly, raise your hand if after or if you were able to find something in that paper that you learned today that you were able to correct. Anyone? Were you able to find one mistake from one of the 4 or 5 things that we talked about today? Plurals, right? Work with plurals, yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Verb forms. Probably a lot of verb forms, right? Good. All right, and now I'm going to pass back to Jeremy.
Okay, so I want you to now look again at your grammar checklist from earlier and kind of compare. After doing these activities, do you feel there are certain kinds of errors that you would like to, that you need to learn more about? Or maybe there are some errors that you feel more confident with? Just take a look at that. And tell somebody, maybe just briefly tell the people in your group or tell one person in your group what types of errors you want to learn about more and what types of errors do you feel you make most often. Okay, so compare to your grammar checklist once again that you filled out earlier in the day. With you're on. Yeah.
So go to your grammar checklist. And then talk about these 3 questions, okay?
Yeah, I think maritime English is more specific. So either one works. It depends how specific you want to be. I think this is fine. Well, I think it's clear. As long as it's clear, I think that's important. If I read that maritime English, then I'd understand. It's related to the ocean, marine sciences.
Okay. So we're going to begin to wrap up, but I just wanted to say something by pointing out an example of today. Tell me your name one more time. What? Nancy. So Nancy asked a very important question that I think that we should talk about, and that is, what if you know or feel that something is wrong in the sentence, but you just don't know what it is? You cannot put your finger on it. But you've read it out loud, you've read it a few times over and over, you are sure that there is a grammar mistake there, but you don't know. She asked me, what should you do? And I said that you should flag it underline, highlight it, and give it back to the person and say, I think that there's something wrong with this sentence. Or you can pass it on to someone else and ask their help. Okay? Think about it as a work in progress, always. In the handout that we just gave, someone was able to find a mistake in the handout. She asked me about it. Of course, I knew, but I was just testing her, No. But I didn't know. And so then I asked Jeremy. I said, Jeremy, could you go and check this? Because I'm not sure. And Jeremy went over and checked it, and it realized that Jeremy was wrong, not me. No. Okay? So anyway, please.
Okay, well, we'd like to open things up for questions and answers. So any questions you have about the peer editing process, about proofreading, about editing, feel free. Are there any questions?
If anybody has questions, now is the time, because we're almost finished.
I don't know if I am the only one having these questions, but I'm here looking for a proofreader. So if you are, available then.
Available?
Jeremy is
Sultan's
available.
always available. I think, well, for me, I'll be leaving the country very soon, but I won't be available. But, hopefully there are some people in your workplace or that you can work with to proofread. I think really, I proofread with my colleagues a lot. So we work together. If we have questions about each other's papers, or hey, can you review my paper and I'll review yours. So I think it's best to find just somebody that is in your community that you can, whose English is also strong, that you can ask about that. Yeah.
Nancy, I'll give you my email. I'll be here for
Thank
another
you.
10 months. And so as long as it's not more than 100 pages, as long as it's not a big scriptsy, then
No.
maybe we can do, okay?
Thank you.
And I only require a payment of chocolate. So,
That's all right.
Okay.
That's a deal.
Question. So I learned a lot today about the grammar and all those things. But what I really like to point out is about the use of the third point, which is about the use of conjunction. And when so my problem is when I create a sentence, I tend to think that I should give like conjunction words. So my question is, in one sentence, how many effective words that we can use to have a better sentence? Like we can add like conjunction, right? But how many words that we can post or make it at the second sentence? That's what I want to say.
Okay. I'll answer, and then if you want to add. So I think that, there's no limit to to how long a sentence can be. But if you do connect many, many clauses together, it gets difficult for the reader to follow and understand your ideas. So the first thing you should consider is this going to be clear to whoever reads it? The other thing to consider is that if you're connecting two different clauses together, you only want to use one conjunction or conjunctive adverb, one word to connect it. So sometimes I'll see sentences that look kind of like this. Although I really like scuba diving, but I don't get to do it very often. And that sentence has although, but it also has the word but. But really, you should only choose one of those. You only need one word to connect two clauses together. And so in that sense, just remember that rule. To connect two clauses together, there's only one connecting word. And then the other rule is just to consider how many clauses you can connect together while having it still be very clear to the reader.
That's right, yeah. And I just want to say that it's a choice of style. There are authors who write extremely long sentences, connecting. There are authors that write very short sentences, so it's up to you.